The day of the series finale of Par has arrived. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is time for exactly how we planned. It is the series finale of Par. It's quite incredible. We've got through this show. Obviously, if you were watching it back to back without reviewing it, you could probably get through it in like 2 weeks or two or whatever. But for me, it's been a grind and a half. I'll let you know because we've had to go through it, man. There's been a lot of episodes, there's been a lot of deaths, there's been a lot of bloodshed. But finally, we are here with the final episode of Par. Because it's a big rich town. No minute, and I'm gonna make it. How were they going to wrap this up? Well, I'm telling you how they're going to wrap this up. Let's begin, shall we? At the start of this episode, we've got Tasha. We are new boyfriend, so to speak. I can't even Quentin, I think this guy's name is. It's like, what significance is this guy going to play? Who knows? But this is the series finale, bear in mind, right? And it's like we just had a lot more of what we've had in the previous episodes, like repeating the exact same scenes that we've already seen, but from different people's perspective. Tyreek, he's sitting there wearing his do rag, trying to pretend to be a wee bit more gangster. And I've watched, obviously, I'm reviewing this episode, of course I've watched it. But like I went in and went on Google and like went on Reddit and seen what people thought, and like people think like the rise of Tariq is what's like made this show go off the rails. I would disagree to a certain extent, but I can see why people came to that conclusion. I think this final season, like the writing's just been all over the place. I think they could have just done it in a much better way. Like Tommy just took such a back seat in this final season, I think, and like so much of the focus has been on like Tyreek and Tasha, and it's yeah. In this episode, it's just playing on that the hatred that Tyreek is having for his father, and it's weird though. It's like we're seeing the offense of like Ghost's last day take place across like 6 episodes. And of course, with Tyreek here, he's like freaking out. And so is Tasha because, Ghost, his master plan looks like it was going to be, well, Tyreek's going to admit to his crimes. We're then going to have Tasha, potentially go to jail. She could lose custody of Yaz, and it could be absolutely in the dust. But we also see Tyreek here meet with Elisa Marie. And we then see a bit but we've seen that back in episode 13. Then we've seen the conversation he has with Tommy and Dre, and it's like, I think we spent like the first like 40 minutes of this episode seeing scenes that we had already seen. Then we see Tasha going to Quentin's place. He agrees to take her to Truth. Now we're finally on the night of Tommy's Ghost's murder. Tariq talking to Tommy about this, and I think as the more this episode went on, I think it was just a bit obvious that Tariq was the one that killed Ghost. Spoiler alert. I kind of always thought it, but I thought, if they're not revealing it, maybe there's going to be like someone else at hand. But no, that's not how it went, because Tariq is what he's did. The master plan for him is that he has hid the gun at Truth in order to do this. But Quentin drops Tash off. She's going to go in and try and kill Ghost potentially. But of course, we know that's not the way it goes down. We also see Tyreek making a phone call to Vincent. So not only, he gives up Tommy to Vincent here. Like, we can't just always sit and pretend that Tyreek is like this great kid that wouldn't, yeah. I honestly feel like Ghost has backed them in their corner. I'm not trying to deny that, right? I do think there is an element of that, but when Tasha figures out in her head that, oh shit, Tyreek said he's going to drop the gun off here, he realises this, or she realises this and heads up for Tyreek in Truth. Meanwhile, in Truth, we've got Tyreek. He's visited by Kaden, so Kaden makes another surprise return here. Good to see him in the series finale. I'm looking forward to these spin-offs, sequels, and prequels of this show, because hopefully they can make up for this final. I think there's still a lot left on the table. I feel like this, again, you always run the risk with these like whodunit angles. I've never seen a show drag it out though. This feels very much like Lost. And here, I never thought I'd be making a comparison between Lost and Par, but finally we have the final confrontation between Ghost and Tyreek. So it's not like he just walked up and shot him. We'll see this final scene where Tyreek whips out the gun. Ghost can't quite believe that Tyreek, his son, is actually pulling a gun on him. To be honest, I don't think many of us can really believe what's going on here at this point, but I guess someone has to pull the gun on him. And then, essentially he's like, you know what, you've crossed the line, Ghost. You've lied to me. You said you gave Breeze or Rolla, whoever the hell it was, another chance. Well, I gave you another chance and you still failed me. He's like, son, you pull that trigger, you're going to make a massive mistake. You're going to make a massive mistake. But then Tasha busts through the door, sees what's about to happen. I thought it would be a bit of funny acting here for Tasha's actress. Tariq then shoots Ghost. He falls off the balcony. Tasha sees him, hits the deck. She's like, Tariq, what the fuck are you doing? Tariq's like, I had to kill him. Tasha then leaves. Tariq's like, I'll take care of the gun. And then this is when he looks down and you see Tommy with Tariq. With Ghost. And he looks up, he sees Tariq. So yeah, Tommy knows for sure it was Tariq that killed Ghost. Tariq is then like freaking out. He's crying. We hear Ghost's like last breath. Tommy did go to shoot Tariq. And then Ghost's like, nah, don't do it. So yeah, we've seen all these different angles of Ghost dying now. And then as Tariq's leaving the building, right, he spots Sax. Sax is like dropping his gun over the place. He's clearly drunk. And then we see Tariq's perspective where he leaves the building, but he notices Sax with Agent Rodriguez. Then Tariq gets into character. He gets to the building. He starts freaking out. He's like, Dad, my dad's in there, my dad. So obviously he's dead. Tariq and Tasha then like reunite, so to speak, back at the apartment. So yeah, looks like things are going okay for them. And then Sax returns to his job because guess what? Mac has now took over the Eastern District, and Warner is fired. And I really rate it, Warner. I mean, he's all right. Like his meltdowns can kind of be funny, but we then have like the big meeting between the Ghost is like lawyer, well not lawyer, but he's like the guy that hands out his estates and his money. And it turns out all the money's went to the kids, but Tariq will not be able to get any of it from the fund until he does 4 years of college and he passes, which obviously pisses them off. Then outside they get arrested. We've got Rodriguez questioning Tasha. We've got Sax questioning Tariq. It looks like Tariq's finally about to break. He's like crying. He's asking for water. But then he confronts Sax. He says, you were there that night Ghost was killed. And he's like, so I'm going to say it was Dre and you're going to back me. And like Sax just fucking agrees to it. Right, so what if Sax was there? Right? Obviously Sax was there to kill Ghost. No one's denying that, right? No one is denying that. But surely Sax would have been like, yeah, but I was there with Rodriguez, to arrest Ghost or fucking whatever. I heard a gunshot, me and Rodriguez were there. Like if Tariq's giving this like threat, like I'll reveal you were there. Sax is like, yeah, but he's a fucking federal agent, officer, whatever. He's not even an officer, but you know what he is. He's like a district attorney sort of guy. So I mean, realistically, he could have just said he was there with Rodriguez. But this makes, and then yeah. So we're going to pin it on Dre now. The murder's on Dre. Sax is then confronted by Rodriguez, and he's like, yeah, you're fucked. Once everyone finds out the guy that killed Ghost is a guy who's supposed to be in federal custody by your marshals. It looks like it could be over. Then she finds out that Dre's dead. She then pays a visit to Two-Bit. And Two-Bit then tells Rodriguez, like, if you think a motherfucker like Dre killed Ghost, then you got another thing coming. So yeah, looks like Two-Bit's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. We see Tasha gets a job with Simon Stern, and he gets Tariq into school, and I'm like, right, with 10 minutes to go here, how is this series going to wrap up? So it looks like Tasha and Tariq have got away with everything. But then she decides this master plan of trying to pin the murder on Quentin. To me, this just felt rushed. It really did. He gets arrested, and then he's like, you fucking planted that, Tasha. Tell him I was with you that night. And then like the people quickly figure out, like Rodriguez, the next morning or whatever, that it was Tasha that in fact that killed Ghost. Obviously it wasn't her, it was Tariq, but like Quentin basically tells the police everything they need to know about like Tasha's whereabouts, and she's the one that went to Truth that night. I dropped her off while I went and got a Red Bull, etc. And it's like, did she think Quentin was going to take the fall for her? Whatever this guy's name is, Q, Quentin, whatever. I mean, honestly, ridiculous, fucking ridiculous. So Tasha gets arrested. But then we get the ending montage. Pretty sad scene here between Tariq and Tasha. It's all came at crumbling down. She takes off her hair. I was like, what? That wasn't Tasha's real hair. Was that ignorance for me not knowing that? Tasha's in jail. She's crying. There's like a bit of a time skip, I believe. We see Tyreek closes like dorm door and it says class of 2024. And as I'm recording this, it is 27th of December 2023. So I'm not far away from that, 2024. And then that's it. Like, that's the final shot. And again, it's almost like the show sacrificed its own ending just to, set up all these sequels and prequels. Like, it didn't feel like a definitive ending to a TV show. It did not feel like a series finale here, the way it ended. Then we get a flashback back to 96 with Ghost, Tommy, and Angela. Not really much here. I mean, is this going to set up the prequel with, like, Kanan's prequel? I'm not too sure. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. But that is Power wrapped up. That is your finale. Tyreek's the one that killed Ghost. I'm not that shocked about it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I feel like it tied up everything down, but it didn't feel like a series finale to me. It didn't tie up enough for me. And it's like, why did we get a Paz episode? Like, why? And in this, there's like zero mention of Tate. We don't even see Tate like become governor, or is that going to be in the spin-offs? Like, what are the spin-offs going to be about? Like, I know Power Book 4 is about Tommy, but I'm really intrigued about what the other one's going to be about. Is Tasha going to get it? Or is it going to solely focus on Tyreek? I mean, who's left for it to focus on? I don't know. That's what's going to make it entertaining to watch. But until next time, guys, that is it. Power is over. And I've got a feeling Power Book 2 and 4 and 3 are going to be starting very, very soon.